Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, my name is Wendy. I'll go ahead and leave my intro video in the description down below. So I wanted to talk about the different methods that I use to be able to conceive within one cycle. The first thing I would recommend doing is getting a period tracker. So the period tracker that I use is going to be Clue. I do the free version. There is an option to get a purchase version, but the free version works just fine for me as well. The reason why I like to track my period is to see how long my cycle is, if it's a 28-day cycle, 29, 30, to kind of see where my body is at, as well as the length of my period. The second method that I used was OPKs, Ovulation Predictor Kits. So I wanted to go over a few things before I showed you guys my ovulation line progression as well as my pregnancy line progression. So all the research that I looked up was from the American Pregnancy Association.org. So that is definitely a reliable source. If you guys have any questions or want any more information, I would definitely check that website out. The reason why I like to use ovulation predictor kits is not only because I have the one fallopian tube, but also just to increase my chances of conceiving in general. So what the OPK test detects is your LH hormone. Your LH levels will rise with the maturity of the follicle of your egg. When your egg is ready to be released from the ovary, that's when you'll have the highest amount of LH. So that is what you're testing for with the OPKs. Now, I feel like there are a lot of confusions with what that means when you do get a positive test. That does not mean that you're ovulating right now. What it means is you're going to be ovulating in the next 24 to 36 hours from when you get that positive. With OPKs, the test line has to be as dark or darker than the control line to be positive. When I show you my progression, you'll see a lot of faint test lines, and then you'll see where I got the positive. So when you do get a positive on your ovulation test, that means you're going to be ovulating the next day. That's what that test is telling you. So I would definitely do the deed that night and also the next day after as well. If you want to do the deed a couple days before, it doesn't hurt either, because sperm can actually live inside of the uterus for 5 days. So fun fact, it takes sperm 6 hours from the vaginal canal for it to reach the fallopian tube, where it could possibly meet an egg and be fertilized. So cycle day 1 starts as the first day of your period, and these OPKs recommend that you start testing on anywhere between cycle day 10 to 12. I started pretty early. I started testing on cycle day 6 just because I had 50 of them, so why not? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my ovulation line progression as well as my pregnancy line progression. Okay, as you guys can see, this is how I kept track of my ovulation testing. I did the date here, cycle day, if it was a negative or positive test, the time. A little heart here, so I know when I did the deed or not. So as you can see here, cycle day 6 starting off negative. Negative there as well. 8 is negative, 9 is negative, 10, 11, and 12. I thought it was slightly getting darker here from from cycle day 11 to cycle day 12, so I wanted to make note of that. Now, I started testing twice a day on cycle day 12, so I would do one more so in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, and then one in the evening. So I see negative there. It is a little bit darker here. I thought I got a positive on cycle day 13 in the evening. And so when I tested again in the morning, cycle day 14, it looked the same. Once I took the one in the afternoon on cycle day 14 there, you can definitely see there that it is as dark as the control line. And I took another test in the evening, cycle day 14, and the test line was darker than the control line here. So that means that was my peak. We also did the deed that evening. Now, after I got my positive, I wanted to make sure that my levels were going back down. So cycle day 15 was still positive. And then by the afternoon, around 1:15, it was negative there. Cycle day 16 was negative as well, and that's when I stopped testing. So here is my pregnancy test line progression here. I started testing at 8 DPO. As you can see here, sorry, I'm trying to get the glare out. Both of those were negative. 10 DPO. I got a faint line. You can't even really see it on here at all. I didn't know if it was positive or not. I took it again later at 5 p.m. and you can see there's a faint line right there. 11 DPO, faint line there. In the evening as well, and you can tell it starts getting darker. It started making a difference once I hit 14 days DPO. Here's the morning there, here's evening. And I kept testing until the test line was as dark as the control line. And with this test, I think it's just the test because it never really got any darker. And I did it up to 20 days DPO here. So as you can see, it starts to show around 10 DPO. And then it got darker all the way to 20. I definitely recommend first response because it definitely gave me a positive. So on 10 days DPO, you can definitely see a line there. 11 DPO, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And these all look pretty similar. The test line is definitely as dark or darker than the control line there. So the line progression on my first response is also going in the right directions, definitely getting darker after each day that I test, which is a good thing. So I also tested my ovulation test as well with the pregnancy. It was faint at 8 DPO. It got a little bit darker at 9 and 10. It kind of was still lighter than the control line, but it did get a little bit darker. I tested again when I was 18 DPO and it was very dark. So if you're already late on your period, I feel like the ovulation test would work better after than before because it doesn't really show you a line that's as dark until after you miss your period. So those are the methods that I use to conceive this first cycle. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I will do my best in answering them. And if not, I can definitely give you the links to resources that I feel like would help. So I'm gonna be starting my pregnancy update videos after this and I'm really excited to do those. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys next week. Bye.